Howdy ho, and season's greetings. Welcome back to Destination, your place for all things Destino. I'm your host, Poti. Today, we head back to Season 3, the last season back on Facebook. That's right, it is the season, Langkawi. And joining me today, we have one player from that season, Liam. How are you today, Liam?
Yeah, not bad. Like the one player basically who keeps coming back from the season.
Can't escape Destino, not quite yet.
Oh, Destino can't escape me.
That's fair, that's fair. All right, so, obviously you played a few times, but Langkawi was your first season all the way back when. Definitely like a forgotten season. I think all the Facebook seasons kind of go in that category, and so it's nice to get the chance to sort of reopen it a little bit, right?
Yeah, this was around during lockdown as well, so it was very much
Ooh,
just
yeah,
a way to
right
keep yourself
after
entertained as well.
May 1st, 2020. So
Yeah.
it was like right after it, people were like, right after the initial lockdown ended, yeah.
I was still in lockdown down here, actually.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah, good old
Yeah,
Australia.
we were just starting it.
Ooh, yeah, at least the American
So.
lockdown started like mid-March. So I guess we were a
We
little
were
bit
we
ahead.
were actually still open around March.
Okay.
We had it, I think, around just the beginning of April, I think it was.
Hmm.
And
Yeah,
that was us, so.
you were a bit luckier than us.
Were any of us really lucky at that
Not
time?
really, not really. But hey, that meant that you got to play Langkawi on a wide open schedule, right?
Yeah, that was the reason why I actually signed up for it, because I was like, I have all the time in the world. Like, I don't have to sleep for this right now.
Yeah, exactly. All right,
Yeah,
so
it's not like I slept for the other ones.
so let's start with the beginning of this game where you're sorted into tribes, and based on the wiki, I so just to be clear to the viewers, I'm not familiar with this season super well, so please
So,
let this set
so
the
the
record
way
straight.
the
But
way
we
it
just started our
started,
pick, right?
yeah, we had a schoolyard pick. There was a day zero, which was basically like everyone get to learn each other, talk with each other, and then it was like, all right, day zero's begun. So now you get to rank everyone from who you like to who you dislike, and then they just added up everything, and there was alternate drop of like you're the highest, you're on this tribe, you're the second highest, you're on this tribe.
Mm.
No, that's not what it was. It was so whoever got the overall most likes got put on one tribe, and the second overall was on the other tribe. And then it was whoever was number one on the first person, then whoever was number one on the second, or who was the closest after that.
So
It just kept going.
it's almost like the lists in like the stab challenge where you like rank
Yeah,
them. Okay, and just automatically went down that. That's interesting.
yeah, that's how it was.
Okay.
So
So
that was basically how we got split up.
yeah, let's see if we can find the pick. I'm just going to search it in the old Facebook viewing lounge super quick. See if they had it. Okay. So, I want to see just how far down you were. So, it looked like you were Cole's highest unpicked selection on Harrow. So, it looked like you were about
Yeah,
halfway through it. So,
about halfway. Yeah.
yeah. So, how do you feel about being about halfway through the list? Was that a spot you were happy with? Did you want to be higher up, lower down? What were your thoughts at the time?
I was cool with it. You know, like if you're at the lowest, you're obviously feeling pretty bad because you got a long way to go. Because it's easily be seen as someone who can easily be cut off. But I'm kind of happy with where I was. Like, you know, you're too high, people can start to see you as like a bit of a social threat. But if you stay really in the middle, gives you a little more wiggle room to start at the beginning.
Absolutely. All right, and so you're on the original Haramal tribe, the Orange tribe. So,
Yeah. It was Malaysian for tiger, I believe.
mm, that checks out. That checks out. Orange tribe.
The only reason I remember that is because it was because it was still lockdown and that Tiger King was playing and everyone was going on about Tiger King, it's Haramau, it's Tiger, it's a thing. And
Yeah, and then the opposing tribe was the Snake tribe.
yeah,
Interesting.
yeah.
Which is
It was
weird.
Ula, I believe.
Yeah, because just as a very minor sidebar, the previous season's merge tribe was Black Mamba in, I believe, Nepali.
Oh.
So I find that actually very funny that snakes just kept popping up in Destino.
Well, I mean, you got a couple of players that act like snakes, so
That's
you know, it
true.
kind of fits.
Who isn't a snake
Snakes
on
and rats.
Destino? Who isn't one?
Everyone's lied at some point.
Yeah.
If you've played this and you say you don't lie, congratulations, you've just told a lie.
I can only think of like one player who's never lied in all of Destino, and that's it. Which is
And how
insane.
far did they go?
Third place. So they actually went pretty. It was last season. Lucky was very honest, and it was actually really fun to watch.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. But back to Langkawi. um, so you're on the Tiger
Everyone
tribe.
was forgotten about.
So you're on a tribe with Mark, Kevin, Jason, Cayman, Hesh, Patrick, Cole, and Bryce. So coming into this
Yeah.
tribe, how did you feel about this group? Did you feel good? What were your initial like first few days like within that tribe?
That was good. First few days were fine, really, just getting a feel for everyone. I connected really well with Hesh and Kamen. I fucking hope that's the way he says his name. I'm sorry if it's not.
I've always gone Cayman. I'm not 100% sure, but
Cayman. Okay, I'll stick with Cayman. Kevin got along well with Kevin as well. Jason had occasional chats with him. He was great. But yeah, the first tribal was something we were all kind of fine with because well, we had all said what we wanted the first challenge, who wanted to do what, and we were all agreeing on it, and that was fine. So there was no really big issues with who was the first person voted out.
yeah,
Like it was a completely unanimous vote because after
completely.
we had the meet and greet, after we had the meet and greet, Bryce just went AWOL and we didn't know where he was. Like so the challenge begins and he's on part of the team for creating the flag and we're like, how are things going? Yeah, it's going good. Bryce hasn't shown up. We don't know where he is. So by the time we're done, it's like Bryce gets a strike for not participating. And we're all just like, all right, we'll vote Bryce. It seems like a no-brainer. And the part I remember, which we all laughed at, was in the tribal council chat, is that how Tommy's always like, I'll go get the votes and announces it. And it's like, first vote, and then two is his, and second vote. The way it went, and it still makes me laugh, is just first vote. First person voted out of Survival Langkawi.
Tommy didn't care about waiting for it. No.
Okay, straight away.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Don't you just love it when you have someone inactive on your tribe because
It was so easy, so easy.
All right, and so the legend Bryce, biggest threat in the game, goes out of the game, and
basically shows up for the first day. How you going? Second day begins. I'm a head out.
Good riddance. Good riddance. And so this brings you to the next round, which looks a lot more interesting. So, of course, you lose once again, but before you go to Tribal, you participate in the Trials of Masuri, which is basically every single round, there's going to be a duel between a member of each tribe, and the winner receives an advantage. And so how did that duel end up going for you, Liam?
Pretty bloody well, actually. Ended up winning. So basically, I think it still went where the winning tribe got to choose who was going to go compete, and then that person got to choose who they were going to compete against. So I ended up choosing Genevieve, and it was just purely logical at that point of just they don't seem like a very strong competitor. This seems like my best chance to win. And obviously, I guess I picked right, as it seems. And
Yes, you did.
ended up getting a light pearl, so...
Light Pearl! Everyone's
Yeah.
favorite.
Not a big fan of light pearls, honestly.
I will say I've been playing orgs for 7 years. I've probably seen a light pearl actually like change the outcome of something maybe twice. And it's one of the most common advantages, especially back on Facebook. Every org had a light pearl. You know, it was every season, and yeah, they don't do much.
No, it felt very much like I had my hands out. They dropped the pearl and said, "Here's a pearl," and my immediate response was, "The fuck am I going to do with this?"
They're just giving you like a big thumbs up. Good job on winning the duel. Here's the sticker.
Here's the consolation prize. I thought I won. That is the prize.
Yeah. I'm glad that light pearls really aren't so prevalent anymore, and that people are starting to do other advantages, just because Yeah, they're
Yeah,
not.
I
They're
think
not
they're
special.
very. It's very much like designed for just a certain event in mind, and that's a tie, and that's it. That's what I
Which
think.
is
They're
funny
just
because if you'd
designed.
raced votes at this first tribal, at the second
It would
tribal.
have turned out great, but
So walk me through this second tribal because obviously a tie vote pre-merge is something that
yeah,
usually
yeah.
is pretty crazy. So I'm curious
So
here.
the way things were going, obviously there at this point there are certain people that are running the show and manipulating and pulling certain events, and from the way it was basically three people. It was myself, Hesh, and Cayman, because Hesh found the idol on like day 2. So I actually wanted to put a fake idol back where Hesh found it, and I even had one ready. And then the hosts were like, "Hold on, we actually have to discuss this for a moment." And then they came back, "No, we can't let you put the fake idol in there." And I was like, "Great, that's okay. There goes that plan. Damn." So what ended up happening with the vote is Mark was originally the target. Mark was 100% going to be the target. And then apparently Cole started mentioning that we could probably look at Hesh as a target, and that shit done fly. So obviously it got swapped to Cole, but only half the tribe knew at that point. So it was leading to the tie, with Cole basically messaging, asking, "Hey, can we not do this? Like, I'm sorry I brought it up and that." And it's like, we can't trust you. Once you do that point, like, you've lost trust so early in the game. Like, it's the part where you've got to like try and build yourself up for people, you know?
Yeah, exactly. It's so easy to burn those bridges in those first few days.
It is. It is. Especially like the early part of the game. Don't just go with unnecessary risks. If someone comes up to you and says, "Hey, the majority plan is this," you just go with it. You're like, "Okay, yeah, no problem. If it's not me at this time, I don't care." You know, like,
Yep. Because while I mean, obviously things can change, but a
yeah,
lot of the time,
things can
the vast
change.
majority of the
And
time, it is not going to be fruitful to do that. As somebody who loves
no,
doing
no.
that in orgs, it is not
if
going to be fruitful.
if you're someone who feels like, I need to build a resume, I need moves under my belt, yeah, you can do that. But you wait until like later in the game. Like the second tribal council is not when you do that.
Yeah. The only way I can see it at that point is if like your immediate like closest ally is the one in danger. Outside of that, you
That would
really
be the
don't have a good reason.
that would be the only time you try and do something where it's like, hey, what if we thought about this instead, or considered that we could keep this person for now, you know? But
Yeah. But yeah, risk is generally a very fickle thing in Survivor because you take
yeah,
one risk, it might work out. Your second risk won't.
mm,
Never does, never does. So,
never, never.
yeah, and we see Cole unfortunately go out,
On the
and
revote, yeah.
yeah, and then your tribe wins the challenge. Woo! You finally
Oh,
won immunity.
finally got a break from tribal.
Yeah.
One of only 2 pre-merge breaks I got.
You don't get a lot of breaks in Destino, do you?
I really do. I've never gotten many breaks in Destino on all my seasons.
Yeah.
I've gone to quite a few pre-tribals.
Yeah, like
Except for Skeleton Coast, and the only reason for that was because I got voted out at the first one.
yeah. And that was just a swap screw situation, unfortunately.
That was very much a swap screw, which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
With my last words being, "If you vote me out, I will come back."
You were right.
At that point, I was just powered by spite.
All right. And so you've won, and your former adversary for the Light Pearl, Genevieve, goes out. Did you really have any reaction to that? Obviously, with the schoolyard pick, you had a chance to communicate a little bit. What were your thoughts on Genevieve going? Does it really impact your game
Wasn't
at that
really.
point?
It didn't really impact my game, and I wasn't really surprised at that point either. Honestly,
All
it
right.
seemed very much like that would be the smart choice for them based on how challenges were, because they were still at the point where you want to win, and it just seemed like they had the Well, they were routinely getting like the lowest scores in that, so
All right.
it's just very much a strength situation.
Yeah. Which, yeah. I mean, if you win the first two challenges, odds are that's really the only thing you really care about at that point. It's just like, hey, let's win more challenges.
Yeah,
Yeah. So, with that, we drop our buffs. Woo! We
yeah, we
made
went
it.
straight to the merge.
Yeah, if only.
Yeah, that'd be great, wouldn't it? Just three
Um,
tribals. Oh, you're merging now.
I think Canadian did that one season, but yeah, it doesn't normally happen.
Oh, I'd love one season where it just there's the first tribal and starts. All right, drop your buffs. You're merging.
Yeah, I think that's called anarchy. Well, you get on your new tribe. You're still a tiger all the way, and
Mm-hmm.
you stay with Mark, Jason, Cayman, and Patrick, and you see Reagan and Mikkel and Sabrina join your ranks. So,
Yeah.
obviously you lose Hesh with from your immediate numbers and stuff, but overall, how do you feel about your new tribe, especially in reference to your old one?
It's kind of that good thing when you start because you know, like just from first glance, without getting to know people, the first thing you think of is, oh, cool, we got a numbers advantage. You know, like that's basically the main thing. But you know, as always, things get a bit deeper. You know, things get a little bit more of a problem, and when you're trying to figure out what's the best move to make at this point. So you obviously got to talk to the other tribes with Reagan, and Sabrina as well as Nicole as well. And I got along well with all three of them. Really, I had no issues or problems with any of them, and I thought, no, I could easily like see myself working with them as well. While at the same time, I was talking to Cayman and Jason, basically kind of starting to run things on this tribe as well, trying to get away around it because Mark got exiled, and Mark was going to join whichever losing team won lost immunity. So that was kind of in my mind as well of what would be the best choice to do. Like, how do I want to really move forward with this? Because at that point, I had spoken to Mark a couple times, but I hadn't really like done anything major or anything, you know.
Yeah,
So it was
like
kind of like, yeah,
yeah, you go ahead. You go ahead.
yeah. It was kind of it was kind of like well, where do we really move forward from that point? Because there were a lot of options after that swap of what we could do with who we had at the time, and it was more trying to what's the word? Facilitate everyone's emotions moving forward for both who stayed and who swapped.
Hmm. So was this just a random swap, or
This
was
was I do believe this was very much a random swap.
okay? Yeah, that's what I figured. There's no notes, but a lot of the times stuff like that doesn't really get written down on the wiki or
I
anything.
yeah, I can see it being a more of a like a drop your buffs random list order
I went to the
who's
episode
on
and it
what.
says they were shuffled in two tribes, so that sounds right to
Yeah,
me.
that would be it.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, and so yeah, your tribe loses. You go to tribal council. Obviously, you do have that apparent numbers advantage, and so
Hmm.
unfortunately, the numbers advantage does not seem to succeed here.
Yeah, you think that. You think
You
that.
would think that on paper.
So you would think that on paper.
Yes.
So what ended up happening is when we lost the tribe, the immunity challenge, the first thing that went through my head was, okay, that means we get Mark at the end of this, which was an original Haramau tribe member. So no matter what, we would still have the numbers advantage at the end of this tribal council anyway. It's still going to be 4-3 if we vote someone off who was with us. Um, because at that point, Mark was in exile. Mark didn't know anything. So if you go to him and you're like, "Hey, we've still got numbers advantage. Like, we'll be fine to work with you and help you out. You like just work with us, and we'll work with you." And when you come back with no information, that's obviously something you want to hear, you know. And at that point, I'd also been talking to Reagan as well as Mikol and Sabrina, and I'd gotten along well with all three of them, having great chats. As well at the same time, and I believe if I'm right here, I think Patrick was starting to rub people the wrong way a bit with all his attitude on both his original tribe mates and swap tribe mates as well. So at that point, I was basically like, and I obviously went up to Nicole as well as Sabrina and Reagan. I was like, look, I'm cool with working with you guys. You've shown me that you're cool with working with me, and that we're fine to vote for Patrick. We know he's been rubbing everyone the wrong way. If you're cool to do that, we'll vote for Patrick. And if you come in like without the numbers, obviously you go for anything that the other tribes like. We'll do this. If it gives you some extra days, you go with it. So then they went with it, which, as you saw, a complete blindside of 6-1. And as you can see, with Patrick having voted for Jason, there was obviously like some friction between them as well.
Yes.
So at that point, it was more along the lines of as well, who would we prefer to keep? And we much rather preferred to keep Jason at that point. So we did that, and once Patrick was gone, the numbers were still 4-3. So we still had that advantage.
Yep. And yeah, I mean, obviously, Mark coming in was interesting. So just out of curiosity, if Mark doesn't come back, let's just say Mark isn't in exile at this point or something, right? You won that first challenge and now you're here. What changes, if anything? Do you think you still vote out Patrick? Do you think you now turn towards voting out one of the Ulars or whatever? What do you think happens in that scenario?
I think at that point, I'd obviously have to consider a lot more who would be the one to go to exile. If it was an original Ular member that went to exile, then no doubt about it, one of them would be going home. I would not risk giving up that numbers advantage, especially when that person comes back and obviously talks to their Ular members and goes, oh, we've got a majority. If it's an original Ular member in exile, one of them goes. It doesn't matter how much I got along with them, they're going. But if it was an original Haramal member as well, then things would most likely play out the same way as they did. It was very much, at that point, trying to keep numbers as well as keep the tribe more happy, if anything.
Yes. All right. And so you go into this next round, you win a couple challenges, and Neil gets the boot. Somebody who I don't imagine really hurt your game going in any way, shape, or form, being Ular the entire time.
No, from what I heard, he was missing for a little bit.
Okay.
But that's just what I think I can remember. Like he didn't really get brought up much.
Yeah, it was just sort of a quell whoever's not here kind of thing.
Yeah.
All right. And then now we're in the final pre-merge round, and Ular comes back, wins that round.
I actually celebrated my birthday this round, actually.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Very nice,
so
very nice.
happy I sent them a photo of my cake covered in. Yeah, I sent them a photo of my face covered in cake because I insisted I get my head shoved in the cake.
I just found the Facebook post where Tommy posted to send you birthday wishes, and only one person commented.
That's just a regular day in my life.
If it helps, it had 2 heart reacts, and it was seen by 50.
Oh, that's not.
Classic.
If that doesn't describe my life, I don't know what will.
This is painful. like just
You
look
get
at
used
this.
to it.
Look at this art piece that I just sent you.
Oh, this is gonna be wonderful.
And that's it. That's the entirety of the post.
Well, thank you, Natalia.
Natalia, be a real one, for sure. Well, sad birthday moments aside.
Oh well.
Your tribe goes back to tribal council.
Yeah.
Which obviously is a very crazy split. 3-2-2-1 becoming a 3-2-1-1. If you can shed some light on how on earth that happened.
So, what originally was looking to happen there was we were still trying to decide who we wanted to vote for. At that point, I was pretty, I got along really well with Sabrina, and I was like, starting. I was working with Cayman and Jason, but I was also starting to work with Sabrina as well at the same time, with Mark in association with the original Haramau tribe. And I ended up hearing, I think it might have been from Sabrina that Reagan was looking to maybe target me. And as I mentioned previously with the Culver, that shit don't fly. So at that point, I said to her, "Do you know if either of them have the immunity idol?" She was like, "No, I'm not sure if anyone has the idol. I don't have the idol." So I was like, "Okay, so I just want to be safe. We'll split votes. If one of them, because at this point I also had the light pearl, so I just had that." And mentioning earlier, like the light pearl's useless. Like, funny enough, I used it a bit here, but it was like, we'll put 3 on one, 2 on the other. If one of them who has the 3 votes plays the idol, then the other will still go home because they'll vote for me and I'll have the light pearl. And it kind of worked like that. So it was more like, if Reagan said it, we'll vote for Reagan. So I went up to him basically like, "Did you target me?" And true to his credit, he said yes. So I'll give him that. He straight up just said, "Yeah, I did." And I was like, "Okay, no problem." At that point, he kind of knew what was going to happen, though. He knew that I was going to immediately target him. And I'm not sure if he was expecting Sabrina to vote with us or have the numbers. But at that point, she was obviously with us. So the way I thought it was, myself, Jason, and Cayman will vote for Reagan just because I had that stronger bond with them. And then I went to Sabrina and Mark, who I was close but not as close with, and said, "You guys go vote for Michael, and Nicole and Reagan will vote for me, obviously. And the light pearl will just cancel it to 1." But I didn't actually know that Sabrina had a vote against her until now. So, interesting.
Very interesting. Yeah, it seems like there's just a couple of random black pearls throughout the season. So I wonder, because Genevieve's tribal, Jacob got a vote seemingly out of nowhere too.
Yeah. These might have been like little advantages or something. I'm
It may have been a form of
not
punishment.
sure.
I know, obviously, a lot of but it wasn't like a self vote clearly. So I'm curious exactly what
No,
happened.
no. It was
Yeah,
probably advantages. It
probably.
most likely would have been that, because it looked like Cole voted for it. So it was probably
Well, that's just
like
how black
ghost
pearls are
votes
marked
or
on the
something.
wiki. Is that it's just underneath that
Oh,
column. So it's not necessarily coal voting,
then yeah, it
but
probably
it's some
would have
kind of
been
weird twist.
Black
Yeah.
Pearl. Yeah. No. Sorry, it would have been a Black Pearl, because the way
Yeah.
the idol worked, it was an idol grid, and they
Oh, there were
mentioned that
disadvantages.
there was disadvantages in there, like
Ah,
you lose 10% off your challenge score, or they would have been Black Pearls because they would have had Black Pearls buried
that
there.
checks out. Okay. I'm used to the idle grids where it's just the idle pieces, because that's what every org does nowadays. So it's been forever
Yeah,
since
no,
I've
that
seen one
they
of
mentioned that.
those. Yeah. All right. Okay, that checks out. Well, on the bright side, with Reagan going, it's time to drop your buffs, because you are merged.
Merch time.
Woo! And the merge tribe, the merge episode, fittingly enough, is named "So Many Alliance Chats." So I'm guessing
Yeah, oh yeah.
very good start to the merge, just in terms of
It,
paranoia and chaos.
oh, massive. Because the problem was, when everything goes back, it's like, well, what do we do? Because there's so much going on. Because you've got your old alliances, you had your new alliances, and everything's just going crazy. But obviously, with how the voting worked, tribal lines were still kind of
Very
like
much
a
intact.
thing. As
Yeah.
yeah,
And
yeah. So it's that was a problem of trying to just adjust to who had what with certain things. I'm just looking down here, but I've obviously noticed a little error on the wiki. Oh well.
there's a lot of
But
errors on the wiki.
yeah, but the way it was, because we merged 12, it was very much. I think it was a tie for who had the numbers.
Yes, it was a 6-6
Yeah, it
vote.
was a tie for who had the numbers. So obviously, what ended up happening was the original Haramau 6 voted for Jacob, and the original Ula 6 voted for Mark. But what ended up happening is Cayman had an advantage, which was a vote nullifier. And obviously, at that point, it was basically like, which member of ULA do we not want to vote? And we just settled on, okay, we'll get rid of Drew's vote. And that was the only reason why Jacob went home, because we had that one advantage.
Yeah. And likewise, if any of them had that advantage, Mark goes home.
Yeah, it
Drastically
would
different
have.
season.
Yeah, it would have ended up with one of us going home. Like, that's what it was at this point.
Yeah. And so, do you remember why Jacob ended up being the target in particular?
I think Jacob might have been the target just because he seemed um pretty sociable at the same time. Like he seemed like he got along well with everyone. And
Yeah.
at that point, like if you have someone like that, the longer you keep them, the bigger of a threat they are, as well as not knowing if this would be the start of like the jury round or not. So
Yeah.
yeah, it was very much like kind of it might have been just like drawing a name out of a bag. Who gets it? I don't know.
Yeah, just as a quick aside, I just find it funny that I've hosted that you two have played Canadian and this together.
I've got a bet. We played main org as well.
Oh, really? So you've played like everything.
Jacob and I were on Meg Wars. Yeah, this was yeah.
Yeah, so he's in Mongolia with you, or?
I believe he was in Mongolia with me. Yeah,
Hmm.
and he might have been the reason I went home. Not for what he did. It might have been because his vote didn't go through.
Yeah, that's insane, actually. How
Yeah,
many times you
his vote didn't go through, and that was the only reason why it prevented a tie, and I went home.
Oh, that's tragic. I've been there
It was tragic. It was.
Oh, those are always rough. Where you shouldn't have gone, but somebody failed to vote, right?
Yeah. But it was a shame. But you know.
Yeah. What can you do?
Move on.
Move on.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, and that brings us into this next round, where you see Hesh quit, and so I'm not sure if you were familiar with the reasons at the time or not.
No, I wasn't. It was a bit of a massive shock to everyone because at that point, I knew that Hesh had still had the Haramau idol as well as the curse vote.
Yes.
So I know he gave the idol to Drew, and he gave me the curse vote, which was unfortunate because I wanted the idol, because then I would have had two idols. Because at this point, I don't. They had played before in another season, and they were actually like
existing friends.
Yeah, they were existing friends. Okay. But I'd wish he'd given it to me, because then I would have had two idols. Because at this point, I already had the merge idol in my pocket.
Yes.
Because Hesh and I were working, because the way the merge idol worked, it was the bridge.
Yes.
And
I've experienced
Hesh and I were doing the bridge, and we were basically sharing our results together while in a chat with the original Haramau, just occasionally. Like, they were on the 60s, while Hesh and I were like just in the early hundreds.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, oh, 61's a miss, guys. Don't go for it.
Yeah, I remember those.
Yeah. Well, and then eventually when I got the idol, I'm like, I'm going to wait until we get like to the hundreds, and then I'm going to say I've got the idol or that. But for now, just, I got the idol. Shh.
Yeah, you just always, anytime that you're idol hunting with a large group, keep them behind. That's what I always suggest.
Never, 100%. That's what it is.
Like, I've done ones where it's like you have to guess every 8 hours, and I would pretend I guessed every like 12 to 16 hours, and I would just pace
That's exactly what I would do. That's exactly what I would do, and I'll just make the excuse of, I can only do it occasionally when I wake up, and that I might not get the 8 hours in time, or blah 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 blah. You know, just
and I would set alarms, and I'd just pretend like, oh shoot, I think I can guess for the idol now. Let me take a look. You know.
Yeah, I think I still have a photo of the idol on my phone, but I have so much crap on my phone. I just got to scroll to 2020, because I guarantee the only thing in 2020 would be memes.
Yeah. And so something else interesting to note.
Oh, there it is! I found it!
Oh, nice. Let's see it.
I actually found it. No, it was a monkey.
It was a monkey. Okay,
it was a monkey. Like, it was obviously a Taliesin. Yeah, but it was a monkey. There it is. It was a monkey. And that was the merge idol.
It's a nice idol. I want to pop this up
Yeah,
on the
that
screen
was
share 1 second.
that was the merge idol.
Um, yeah. I want to replace your Monogatari with the idol for the rest of the episode. We got the monkey idol here.
Nice.
Nice.
No, I don't have the fake idol, but I did have that. He just had a tiger on it.
Yeah. All right. And so obviously Hesh goes. So does Hesh going at this point really screw up your plans at this point? Obviously, since you just had a tie vote, now
Um,
based on the last vote, it's
Hesh was
5
kind of Yeah, Hesh was kind of like my number one ally. I can't remember where we were leaning voting wise that time, but I remember Hesh going was like, "Oh, well, that was a massive surprise." And when he mentioned I gave Drew the idol, the first thing I thought of was just, "God damn it," because I wanted to target Drew. Drew was one of the people I wanted to go, and obviously that puts a massive hole in the plans because while I'm not sure if he has the Ula idol, I now for sure know he has the Haramao idol. So it's like, out of everyone you could have given it to, that's who you give it to, really? But I as sad as it is that someone has to quit, like, I do hope everything was fine for him at that time. I did not have a plan to take him to the end. I was allies with him, but I was not going to take him to the end.
Yeah. And so
It's like, at that point in the game, you start looking at who's really you want to take. Like, I can be allies with you, I can be friends with you, but if I'm looking at it and you're someone who's obviously a threat, ally or not, I'm not taking you to the end.
yeah. And you would hope that they would have the same reverence for you, quite frankly.
I would hope so. I would hope that if I was enough of a threat at the end, you would look at me, ally or not, and say, I don't think I can beat you, so I'm not going to take you.
Yeah.
And I would 100% accept that.
I've definitely, I've always liked the conversations where I'm talking to someone and it's like, we're not going to the end together, but let's vote together this round.
Yeah.
Those are always fun convos. So, now we go into the next round and you win immunity.
Hold on, let me lean back from the mic for this one.
It completely cut out. I just heard the what? And then it just went like that.
Hey, that works better, if anything.
It's just like you blipped out of existence. Okay. So you won immunity.
So with the way they actually, the way they said this, they said that this immunity, it was both immunity and reward, and the reward was the last trial that you got to go to. So, winning that, I got to go to the trial as well, and I took Sabrina because, she wanted to go to one. So I was like, yeah, sure, okay.
All right.
Because it was mostly, I'll do this for Sabrina just to show more that we're allies, but more that I also think I can beat Sabrina.
Yeah. Because you're not going to take someone that's going to be such a big threat. Yeah.
No.
Obviously not.
No, if I had someone that was someone like a Drew that came up to me and said, hey, I'd really love to go in that, that's great, but I'm not going to take you.
Cool. That's
cool. If anything, I want to win immunity, and then I want to win an advantage. Like, I don't want the immunity and then the consolation prize. Like, I want both the prizes.
Exactly. You're not going to give that up.
No. I've also just found my votes, actually. Funny enough, the votes for the season that I did were my handwriting. I turned my handwriting into a font.
Nice.
Yeah. It turns out I grabbed the wrong thing. I grabbed a marker. It was too thick, so that's why it looks really fucking thick. So if I do that again, I'm using a pen, just so it's not like that.
Yeah. Just really, make the point finder.
Yeah.
Yep. And
then I just decided to go with random themes and stuff for all my other votes.
So what sort of lucky charm do you get from this last trials for winning it?
I got a reset idol.
You got a reset idol. Let's go. So,
for those of
our viewers who have not experienced the reset idol, what does it do?
The reset idol is played after the votes, and anyone who has a vote, it instantly resets the tribal, so everyone has to vote again. But whoever got a vote that round becomes immune.
Yes. Fun stuff. It is purely built for chaos.
Now, there's the part that I had the problem with of played after the votes.
Yeah.
This is what we call foreshadowing, folks.
I'm all right. All right. We'll get there. We'll get there, right?
We'll get
We'll get
there.
there. All right. So you're back to tribal. Obviously, you just had a 6-6.
I can
Yeah,
remember mentioning saying, once the votes originally got revealed, I can remember myself saying, if there's any immunity I'm glad I won, it's this one.
Yeah. Because this one's just such a high risk one, and there's a pretty reasonable chance that you could be seen as a threat compared to other members of your alliance, especially physically speaking.
Yeah.
So easy that you could be the one targeted here.
Yeah, I'm looking through the voting confessionals, and I've literally just written, man, am I glad to have immunity for this one.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. What else is there to say?
There's nothing else.
All right, and so you end up voting for Drew, who of course has that idol, and does not play it. Yay.
No, I voted for Cayman.
You initially voted for Drew, right, to tie it?
Did I? No.
Right?
Apparently, did I?
Oh no,
Because
you
originally,
did vote for
no, I
Wait,
voted for Cayman both
wow.
times.
Okay, so what on earth happened here?
So I believe no. So I do remember. So this goes back to the vote before. Originally, we had decided that I think Cayman was going to be voted out before Hesh quit. That we were going to vote for Cayman, and then obviously Hesh quit, and then Landed started talking a bit, and I was like, all right, well now that you've given it away, like he knows it's coming, so I may as well just get this out of the way, you know.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I was like, at this point, I was kind of talking and working with everyone. Like, tribal lines were gone at this point.
Yeah.
So it was like, and Drew was getting a bit desperate because he had a big target on him. And Drew was very much in anyone but me mode for this time. And I was like, yeah, if you'll vote for Cayman, I will vote with you. I don't care at this point. So that was basically the idea behind the vote. Cayman was the original target during the Hesh quit, and he got a couple extra days at that point. So I was like, no, he has to go.
All right, so Cayman ends up going after the revote, and we head into that next round where you do not have immunity anymore.
No, I don't, and it was a big, very much a chaotic tribal. Like, we didn't know what was going on. Everything was just being thrown out.
Yes. At least 4 names got thrown out.
Yeah.
So, you obviously, I'm assuming, feel pretty nervous heading into this tribal, right?
Oh, very nervous.
Yeah.
Very nervous. Because everyone was. It's that weird situation where everyone was keeping quiet, but everyone was just talking at the same time.
Talking without saying anything, kind of, right?
Talking, exactly. Like, you're not sure what's the right name that people are saying, or if it's just a distraction, or what's going on. But there are so many names, and once you hear your own name, then you start to panic slightly, because you're like...
It's self-preservation mode at that point.
Exactly. With the great irony, and I know what you're going with this, because obviously I played the idol.
Yes.
For that. And that was very much... self-preservation of I don't want to be someone who goes home with an idol in their pocket. Again, foreshadowing. I look back on this stuff. I look back on this and Skeleton Coast for so long, just having these 2 major regrets in that. But thankfully, I managed to shake that off in All Stars.
Yes.
Because we'll get to what the regrets are by the time we get to,
because you didn't have any
Tribal
advantages
12.
in All Stars other than that one, and you used it.
that was it. That was it. Use that advantage and be the last standing 3-time returnee. Yes. That was it.
Which, to be fair, I mean, I mean,
That was my only goal because when I
yeah.
saw everyone who'd come back and the three timers, the first thing I thought was, "You're on Skeleton Coast. You voted for me. You go bye bye."
The rough thing was like so many skeleton coasters were on that cast. Like, and there didn't need to be that many skeleton coast players. You know,
Yeah,
it was rough.
I
'Cause
will
there was
say the
what, two
Skeleton
players
Coast
per
that's supposed.
tribe that were
Yeah,
skeleton
I think
coast.
there were.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Let me actually see how
Yeah,
many
because you and
Skeleton
Javante, there
Coasters we had.
was Rose and Luke on my tribe, and then Malik and
There
Han
was also
on blue,
Ryder as well.
and Ryder. So there's three on blue.
Mm-hmm.
So was it seven? Yeah, it was seven. Okay.
There was Luke, Javante, Malik, myself,
Yeah. So there's seven. Han.
Rose, Han, and Ryder. Han was a shock for me,
Yeah.
honestly. When I was playing, Han was a complete shock for me. And at that point, when that happened, I was like, "Oh fuck, this is going to be a serious season."
Oh yeah. I mean, same thing for me because I'd hosted that season. And I was like,
Yeah.
what? Wait, what?
No, I was shocked. But when Malik went, I was sad that Malik went because I got along well with Malik. But at the same time, I was dancing because I was like, "Fuck you all! I'm the last one."
I almost saved Malik with my idol too. How bad would that have been?
Well, I wouldn't have had a problem with it as long as Malik went first before me.
That would have been funny because everyone like wanted Malik gone other than me. And if I just played that idol, that would have been so fun. All right, and so yeah, obviously, Drew goes home. So on paper, probably the biggest physical threat left. You know,
On
Drew's a
paper,
beast.
absolutely. And I
Yeah.
didn't feel as bad that he went. Like, it was very much, oh, it's a shame that he's gone, but, you know,
Aw,
he's
too
a
bad.
massive competition, so I'm not going to make a big, fuss about it like he's gone. It's like, oh, no. Anyway.
Yep. And you vote for Kevin at that tribal. So what was sort of the
Yeah.
reasoning to go after Kevin?
There were a lot of rumors going around that Kevin was also the one who was talking about stuff about with Landon as well. Like, they were the ones who were giving out a lot of information on Haramel group chats and that, you know, that he was giving out that info, and it was like, well, you can't do that. Like, you're sinking so many other people just for that. Nah, mate, not happening.
Nah. Can't let that happen.
Nah, nah, yeah, nah,
I love like all the Aussie and Kiwi slang that I hear from our community. It's always so good.
Here's the way yeah, nah works. Whatever the last word said is, that's the answer.
Yeah.
If it's nah, then it's no. If it's nah, yeah, then it's yes.
Nah, yeah.
Then that's a yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that checks out. Okay. So, into the next round, you get the immunity once again. Nice little safety
We know where
net.
we're going. We know where I'm going with this.
Same exact thing happened. I love it.
Every time I win immunity, I just blink from existence.
I want to get the timestamp and send it to you just so you can hear like the kind of thing go on.
I look forward to hearing that.
Yeah. All right. And so, you're safe, and you
I think the challenge for that one was Tetris, but
Okay.
like the not regular Tetris, but where it didn't have walls, so it would like tilt and fall over.
Oh, I don't remember the name, but I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about, yeah. Where the basic strategy was build a good base and then just shoot to the fucking top.
Yeah, because like it would yeah, the fucking leaning on that one was
Yeah, the
awful.
way I did it was keep it slow, keep it steady, and then the moment it looks like it's starting to lean at one point, you just stack them as high as they can.
I once played a version where I once played that one, but I just built straight to the top, and I won the challenge just like building in a vertical line, and I don't know how 'cause everyone was so bad. I think it's called falling
No,
down, or something like that.
Oh, it's something like that.
Yeah,
But
Tetris Party?
I enjoyed the challenge. I thought it was fun.
Was it Tetris Party?
It might have been. Let me just check if it says it on here. 99 bricks.
99 bricks. Okay, yeah, that's it.
99 bricks.
Yeah, I just googled it and found the images on it. Yeah, hate that challenge. For anyone who complains about the modern web apps that they use in orgs, you do not know the pain of the old Flash games and how bad some of them were.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, yeah.
some of them were, like, rage-inducing, and this was one of them.
People
now
who
the
just
worst is
started
Winterbells,
on
and
the
Winterbells is still fine.
people who have started with the Discord era don't know the pain that we went through.
They do not know the pain. Hello, Cayman.
They don't. They really don't know the
Hello.
pain.
I want to update the graphic
there
now.
he is.
Welcome to the party.
I completely forgot about this. Oh man. Oh well. How have you guys been?
We are doing
Good,
wonderful. How are
good.
you doing?
Is it still recording for
It
them?
is still recording. We currently are in the round that Landon got voted out, but we can skip back a little bit if you want to talk a bit about your experiences in Langkawi.
I'm gonna open up
The wiki.
the wiki. Because it's been a
I've done
while.
the same thing.
Here, I got you. I just sent the link.
It's been 2 years.
Or I did not.
I
send the link, sent the
I
wrong
cannot
place.
believe it's already been 2 years. Like
It's been 2
over
years,
2
yeah.
years. Over 2 years.
it was my third org ever, and I'm up to like 20 now. I've stopped playing at this point. I haven't played an org in a while, but yeah, I was like 16. Now I'm 19.
You want to know something even crazier, Liam?
What?
All Stars
Yeah?
anniversary is in 6 days.
Oh my god.
Yeah, well, would it have been a year?
Yeah. All
A
Stars
year
began
already.
August
Oh my
14th.
God.
That's crazy.
I can still remember the pain of the first like 2 tribals for me because they were both live challenges.
I remember the game
And Tony's
beginning
like,
and I
"We're
was
gonna do-"
eating food in a Mexican restaurant and like I couldn't talk to anybody because like it was greasy.
I remember
my
it was
God.
like Tommy was like, "Here's the first challenge. It's going to be a live challenge at this time," and I've added it up and it's like, "Oh my god, that's 5 a.m." But we were in lockdown again, so I was like, "You know what? I'll stay up for it. I'll do an all-nighter." And then we get the next challenge. It's like, "It's another live challenge, 5 a.m." All right, I guess I'm not sleeping.
Tommy hated you.
Oh, man.
That was the nice
I
thing
wanna
about my
tell-
tribe is we were all like similar time zones except for Joan, but we didn't care about Joan.
That's always been my problem. Like I'm usually always on the other side of the world to everyone else.
Yeah.
Right now I'm going through our old DMs, Liam. Let's see. I'm scrolling all the way back. Let's see if I can find
Oh,
something
fuck.
good.
Oh boy.
Alright, I got all the way to the back to the Bryce vote. All the way back to when Bryce kind of just disappeared.
Classic.
I mentioned how great that first vote was because the votes, as I said, basically went first vote, first person voted out Survival Langkawi, and just revealed all 9 Bryce votes.
I
God,
remember
I-
back when there was a trend when live tribals first started, and every single org would do this thing where they would reveal some votes, and it would be like a 4-1, right? And then next vote, and they just reveal like 5 votes for the person who had 1 vote. And you know, like I
Oh,
remember back when
yeah.
every org did that.
Damn.
Good old Facebook. Good old Facebook. Discord people just don't understand the pain of Facebook orgs.
Yeah, oh my
I
god.
don't know why anybody continued playing orgs after experiencing one on Facebook Messenger.
I'm so glad I at least my very first 3 orgs are all on Facebook, and I was glad I was able to find this during that era.
Yeah.
I think playing on Discord versus Facebook was very drastically different.
Huge change.
I-
Absolutely.
I mentioned it earlier, but we had that weird, awkward moment where we were in the middle of the Facebook Discord change.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I didn't even know what Discord was at all. I didn't. I was still young,
I'm in the exact same boat as you.
I
Oh,
didn't
man.
even start on Discord until Tommy asked me to host Skeleton Coast.
Damn.
I didn't know much about it. I'd known slightly that it was a thing, and I think I made an account like ages ago. But then when Skeleton Coast was happening, I was like, "You need a Discord," and I was like, "All right, well, let's see if I can remember this old one." And I got it, and now I've just been using it because there's more groups I've been adding into, and that kind of thing.
Yeah, and now you've been around long enough that it's natural. But Facebook
Yeah,
Facebook has
there's still a few bits
charm.
where I don't know what's going on, but
Yeah, but it's a lot easier once you're used to it, of course. But
yeah.
there's just something interesting about the Facebook days. It was scuffed, but it was fun. Very
It also
nostalgic.
felt a lot more personal because you were with their actual profiles.
Yeah, and you could like look on their profile and stuff too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I once found out somebody was roommates with somebody in the game because of
Oh, no. way.
Oh.
that.
Oh,
Classic.
man.
Good old Miguel Lopez.
Yeah, that's why I set my profile picture on Discord to just my face because like I was already used to it in Facebook, so might as well just keep going with it on Discord.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what's the harm in that point, right?
So my only memory, like the biggest memory I have of Langkawi was after Hesh quit. I remember I felt so guilty that he quit because I felt like I was the one who resulted in him quitting after that the blind side of Jacob. So I was definitely a big part in the reason why Jacob ended up leaving.
Yeah, because you played the vote blocker.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then
Then that game completely tanked after that.
well, according to Liam, you were the target during that round.
Oh,
Anyways.
damn.
Yeah, the hash quit vote. You might have been the target.
Damn.
It only comes out 2 years later.
That's how it all works on this stuff, though.
Yes.
Hmm.
And so, yeah. Well, yeah. Bit of a bloody merge, to be sure.
Oh yeah, it was very much.
lot of
It was very
heaviness.
much the whole. Oh, there are no tribe lines. There are no tribe lines. Stick with me, man. We're still orange for life. Orange for life.
Tiger King, Tiger King.
That was it.
Well, yeah, you see Landon go, and then do you have any insight on the round where you leave, Liam? Was there anything particularly big that happened
So
there?
the only reason, so the reason Landon went just simply was because he also won immunity. So I could be like, hey, he's won. We can get rid of him. While also being like, don't acknowledge my 2 wins. So don't worry about that. That's fine.
Don't do that. Yeah.
Don't worry about that.
Yeah.
My
Not yet.
vote off was. It's one of those weird ones where looking back, I knew it was going to happen, but I thought I kind of heard that my name had been thrown out, and the only reason I voted for Jason is because I knew Jason had the legacy advantage, and I was working with Sabrina at that time, and I thought if we vote out Jason, then I would assume he would give you the legacy advantage. And I was right, because Jason had mentioned that had he been voted out, he would have given it to Sabrina. So it was a bit of a calculated play here. And I went to, I think it was Mikol, and I said to him, vote with me, Sabrina. Vote with me. Who voted with us that round? Just trying to check who it was. I'm losing track here. Yeah, it was TK voting as well, but he knew I was going.
Mm-hmm.
And it was basically like, vote with us, and you'll be safe. I guarantee safety, because I didn't want to use my reset idol. I wanted it to be where I could keep it for as long as I can. In hindsight, I should have told him about the reset idol. I should have told him, if you vote with me, I have a way to save you. I guarantee you won't be going. but I kind of knew it was me when because we'd always chat, and he'd say good morning, I'd say good morning as well, and we'd chat because we bonded through both liking the game Jack and Daxter. And when I messaged him one morning on that, just before my elimination, I said morning and that, and it said he had seen it and he'd never responded, and I was like, okay, so I know where that's going. But here's the foreshadowing mentioned earlier. I got confused with how the reset idol worked, and I thought because it got played after the votes, I could play it after the votes. But then I got told, like, just before trouble began, like, no, you had to play it beforehand. And I was like, oh no.
Pain.
And got voted out with a reset idol, and got to be the first person in Destino to be voted out with an active idol. Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah, so
Congrats.
now that gets to be on my Wikipedia page down there in trivia.
Yeah. And so I'm confused about something that happens after you leave.
Mm-hmm.
On every single thing relevant to this vote on the site, the vote after yours, Mikol, it
Mm-hmm.
says that you voted for Mikol.
I had the cursed vote from Hesh.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that checks out. I forgot what the curse vote did. I was
No,
thinking
no, no. Let me vote
there's
for the
a
next
new
one.
there's this thing called a vote curse nowadays where it's force somebody to vote between two people, and so that's
No,
what
no,
I was
it
thinking
was the
Okay.
so that was the vote curse. I had like they called it a cursed vote. It was
Yeah.
basically just the exact same parchment, but it was grey. Yeah,
That
that's
checks out.
spooky.
Yeah.
The spookiest color of them all, grey.
Yo, it's like when you're on the ship of the damned, it's just your manga but green.
I like that they still kept that on the DVD. Like I'm the only one there who's green.
I think I made Shane do that. I think when Shane asked for the mangas, that's the one I sent him.
Well, I spent enough time on it, you know. So.
Yeah. It was just too important at that point.
Oh yeah.
All right, and so if either of you have any thoughts up until final tribal council, we can add them. But obviously, you're both out of the game at this point, so I'm not sure if either of you
My
have much to say.
my
there.
Mikol vote was basically just as like, how dare you not say good morning to me?
Yeah.
No, the way it went is obviously when you play these, you want to be a bit of a character and just fun. And at this
Yeah.
point, I was like being a bit of a villain as well as in Skeleton Coast. I was also being more an anti-hero in Skeleton Coast, if anything, and then going to hero in All Stars is how I look at how I wanted to play, going from villain to hero with that in between of Skeleton Coast. And I remember the Jason vote. So Mikol's vote was the last time Jason could play his Legacy Advantage, and he did, which basically watching from Ponderosa was very much just a aha, I called it moment.
Mm-hmm.
And then Jason, that obviously cost him the next round because he got eliminated because of that. And I can remember the feeling in the Ponderosa chat of the second last tribal council where all of us wanted Sabrina to win immunity somehow, because if Sabrina won immunity and got to the final tribal council, she was winning. She was hands down winning the game.
Yeah.
And when they voted her off, we got very disappointed because we looked at TK, Kevin, and Mark as like not that great of players with who we had left.
Especially not compared to Sabrina's social prowess.
Sabrina's social prowess was the best in the game.
Yeah, undoubtedly.
There is no arguing that.
I mean, Bryce kind of put up a fight there, but
Bryce was just too powerful. We knew we had
Bryce
to get rid of him straight
the
away.
Biggest threat in the game.
And deep down, Bryce knew that as well. It's like that guy who eliminated Bryce. He's a real hero.
And so, heading
if you ever have a season, we need to have heroes versus villains versus Bryce.
Yo, yeah, Bryce is the neutral strike.
No, Bryce becomes the new head owner of Destino. I think that would
Oh,
I'll pitch it to Tommy. Let's see.
Ooh, Destino, Tommy versus Bryce.
Yo, the two greatest players ever. Neither one of them have ever lost the final tribal council.
Can't wait for Game Changers when it's Cole from Bora Bora and Bryce at the final tribal council.
Now that would be
that'll be an intense one.
that would be pretty intense. Yo, just Cole
I
versus
don't think
Cole.
the world would. Oh, I don't think the world would be ready for that.
Look, I think you just need to fight who you want to fight and hug who you want to hug. I love that speech. That speech is phenomenal. So, heading into Final Tribal
Make
Council.
war, not love.
Yes.
Oh man, heading into the final tribal council, I was not prepared to vote for any of them. I was.
No, I'm the exact same way. And
Mhm.
being like that villainous persona, I still wanted to play that up a bit because I was like, "You all suck. Why should I vote for you?"
Mhm.
And so you two both
I don't
vote
think
someone
TK
different.
Yes, yeah.
And so I'm curious, what's sort of the rationale that both of you put behind your final vote there?
Well,
Well, yeah. You go ahead first. You voted
Alright.
for the winner after all, so.
yeah. Well, I didn't want to vote for TK. I don't remember exactly why it was against TK, but it was between. My vote was between Kevin and Mark. I ultimately decided to vote for Mark because, I have to go all the way back to the Ponderosa because I'm pretty sure I mentioned somewhere. You can actually talk about your vote for a bit while I.
Okay. So the way it was, the way they built up their games is Mark built his game up as more like a under the radar, very stealthy game. Kevin, at this point, had won a couple immunities as well, as winning the final immunity challenge. And I don't even remember what TK did. That's why I didn't vote for him. But also because you're straight up lying to me, and when you're like that, it's like, ooh, you're gonna have to work hard for this one. But Mark's game is what I also feel is the problem with like an under the radar game, because they're very hard to prove that you were doing that the whole time,
Mm-hmm.
because someone can easily just see it as, well, no, you're just saying you were doing something when we both know you weren't doing shit.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I felt at the time, because we would never interact, we would never do that, and once merge hit, and I was like, well, I can't really prove that. Well, I can prove that Kevin's like challenge-wise consistently has been good, and so I voted for Kevin simply for like a physical game. I know he had some issues with people at the end there, and on his vote I put in a reference to Johnny Gargano because wrestling's awesome.
Yeah.
And I also did it just because I felt if TK got a vote, he would be the runner-up, and I kind of didn't want that to happen as well.
But it did happen.
It did happen. They both were tied runners-up, but one wasn't better than the other. So, I'm kind of happy with that.
Yeah. Of course.
But I was the only one who voted for Kevin.
Yep.
While the only person to vote for TK, I believe, was Drew. And everyone else voted for Mark.
Oh, I think I remember now. I'm going through my jury speech, and I remember that I was pretty angry at Mark. Oh no, yeah, Mark for voting against me instead of voting for Drew at the vote that we tied. I ended up respecting more of Mark's game because we were closer in the game. So I feel like I might have been more willing to vote for Mark because of that. So we were more closer in the game. I feel like I was more blindsided by Kevin when he wasn't able to vote for me or vote to keep me in the game. Yeah, and looking back, yeah, Mark did vote for Drew.
Yeah.
So
I will say one of the fun things about ending is when you get voted off and you go back through Ponderosa to see how people are reacting to you doing certain things.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I remember seeing the message. It might have been from Landon, or I'm not sure who it was. It might have been a different season, but I remember it was a Destino season where I went back and I saw a message that said, Liam is such a rat, but damn it, he's playing really well. And I was like, hey, I mean, that's something,
Yeah. Hey, if they still respect your game, it doesn't matter what you are, right? Snake, rat.
Oh yeah, even a rat survives,
Yeah. That's the whole point, right?
Exactly.
All right. Well, we've gone through the season of Langkawi, so I would pose the question to both of you. Do you have any final thoughts or things you wish
Oh,
to add?
we're not done. We're not done. There's two
We're not
things.
done.
There's two
There's
things.
two things.
There's two things. Yes, there is at the end of every season the fan favorite as well as the player of the season, and we just happen to have the fan favorite with us right now.
Oh
Yo, Cayman?
no
Damon,
way!
yeah,
No, I forgot.
yeah,
I
you
won.
were
Wait a
the
minute!
favorite.
I forgot that I won.
You were the fan. You were the fan favorite because it was a three-way tie for runner-up between Drew, Mark, and Toby.
Yo, wait.
I'm
I
not joking. Here,
didn't
They-
the fan favorite vote? Wasn't that like weren't there like 5 or like not that many votes from the viewers anyways?
oh, probably, but you still got it.
Oh man.
Langkawi is probably the least active viewing lounge in Destino history, to be fair.
I
Oh,
believe
yeah.
that's one of the stats about it. Yeah.
Cayman had
Why?
13% of the vote with 8 votes.
Oh my god. Well, 8 votes. I think that's good enough. I think I'm going down in history as
Cole
the
had
best
4 votes.
fan favorite. Wait, who? Cole had 4 votes.
Cole had 4 votes.
Yeah. Oh man.
Now, obviously,
Uh,
votes have changed
and-
since then because it shows Mark with 6 votes, but
Um,
TK
And then there was
4
also
or 5. So,
player of the season as well.
yo, Sabrina? Let's go.
Sabrina, player of the
Equals
season.
very
Yeah.
flat.
And the runner-up is here
Jeez.
right now with us. Let's
Yeah. Yeah.
Cayman.
Not me.
Liam, let's go.
Yeah.
Wait, Liam, can you do it one more time for the viewers?
Hold on. Woo!
Oh my.
Just blip.
I'm on a chair with wheels, so I can actually just like slide away. But I can remember-
wanted to bring something to this. I made a video of me actually like writing down Mark's name on a parchment. I have one of the pens from Survivor,
Mhm.
so I.
Oh, that's
did
so
that.
cool.
The only thing is the video didn't save, and I ended
Oh.
up not being able to post it, and I couldn't find it. So
Oof.
I can remember the comment, because obviously player of the season is chosen by the hosts,
Yes.
compared to the fan favorite. I can remember the reasoning behind myself and Sabrina being runner-up and winner respectively, and it was that overall my game was so hyperactive that I was barely sleeping, and I was doing way too much at one point. While with Sabrina, obviously had like an amazing social game because Sabrina was great in Langkawi, and it's a shame she hasn't come back.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I think, like, if Sabrina has any interest in coming back and it works out timing-wise, Sabrina's coming back.
Sabrina
Yeah.
will,
As someone who has
So
not hosted any returning player seasons and has no idea exactly what's in Tommy's mind, I think Sabrina was a lock for All-Stars, quite frankly. That's even what it says in
I
alternate
wouldn't
returning.
be surprised.
I
I
think-
wouldn't be surprised
Yeah,
if
the alternate
Sabrina
returning
was a lock
players
for All Stars.
page, I'm pretty sure, says Sabrina would have been cast. Okay, it doesn't
Yeah, no,
outright
it-
say that, but let's be honest.
Let's be honest, Sabrina's an all-star to us.
Yeah. Like, literally, like,
Mhm.
probably if you had to pick, like, a player that should have been an all-star that wasn't, Sabrina would be, like, top 2. Other than
Yeah.
maybe Linus, you know?
I think
Yeah.
I found the reason why I was fan favorite.
Why's that?
I just posted it. Oh boy, I sure love playing orgs. Sure, I hope I don't screw myself over. We're playing too messy in the merge, causing distrust between me and everyone I'm working with, and eventually putting a permanent target up.
Who was it messing Langkawi? Let's be real.
As a messy season, a lot of people missed out on, which is a shame.
Yeah.
Because
I mean, it probably would have been pretty hype if it was, like, a more recent season, but same, like, level of play.
I think if it would have been on Discord and more recent, it would have worked well. With the
Yeah.
personalities they had on there, I think it would have went great.
Let's just bring back everybody from Langkawi. and just do Langkawi 2.0.
Mate, I don't want to confront Bryce again. That's just too much power.
Oh my god.
Don't worry, we'll put Bryce on the other tribe.
Great, now I've got to compete against Bryce.
Yes. All right.
It's
So
going to be really weird if he ever finds this and it's like, yeah, they're lucky I'm gone.
Bryce is just being celebrated right now. Well,
As he should.
now that we've gone through the important awards, do either of you have anything left that you would like to say before we wrap it up? It could be anything. If you want to do a whole nother discussion, we can.
It was great, honestly, playing Destino. It was really fun.
I had my ups and downs, but I look back on this as one of my favorite times playing an org.
No, yeah, I agree with you 100%. Like, it was great because it was lockdown as well, and it was at least some kind of interaction with people at the same time.
Yes.
And then getting to find out, like when Skeleton Coast came out, that we were on the same tribe again, it was like, awesome, this is fantastic.
Right.
love-
Like, I know who you are, you know who I am.
Woo.
And then eventually we both went to the Ship of the Damned.
And
Not
Oh,
so
goddamn,
man.
much.
On New Year's of all time, like I could not keep
Yeah,
up on New Year's.
That was just unfortunate for you.
Oh man.
Because that last challenge, especially giving us 2 days to do it, is such a nightmare.
And being idled out too, like with one vote.
yeah.
Oh
You were
man.
probably the two most like rough votes in Skeleton Cups pre-merge, because the
Mhm.
idol and the fucking swap screw tie vote, like those were
Yeah,
rough votes.
that was really like. I think I ended up voting for you. Didn't I vote for you, Liam?
Yeah,
at
everyone voted
No,
for Liam.
we didn't get on the tribe
Well, in the
together. You got
merge.
swapped to
Oh,
the
wait,
other
no,
tribe.
that's right. You weren't in the merge.
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you never voted for
Yes.
Liam.
No, I was gone, and then we were. The only
Oh,
time
yeah.
you were on the Ship of the Dam was like for the
we
like
voted
for the
for
literal
that.
last challenge,
Damn.
Yeah. Pain.
and it was like, oh, Stairway to Hell. I know
Don't
it's called
worry,
heaven,
we'll
but it
do a
was hell.
Skeleton Coast one at some point as well.
I can't wait for that.
That one's
That's
coming
gonna
up
be
at some point.
That's just gonna be me screaming for half an hour with like flashbacks.
fun. Oh no.
The trauma. Instead of whoa,
Yeah,
it'll be
just scream. I'm still salty about my the placement on Skeleton Coast. Second
Mhm.
jury member. I should at least be like fourth jury member.
Matt Elrod was second juror in Redemption Island, I'm pretty sure. Or like third or fourth.
Oh yeah, but I didn't get eliminated first in the fucking re-entry thing.
Were you not?
No, I was at like behind. I believe it was Rose and Drew.
Yeah, that's Tommy's call then. That wasn't my call. That's all I can say. I'll have to go back and look because I genuinely don't remember how that one was scored. But if that was the case, that was Tommy's call.
But no, if I had to rank the 3 Destinos I've been on like least fun to most fun, it would be Skeleton Coast, Langkawi, and then All Stars. All Stars was just very much fun, and Langkawi was a great way to introduce
All Stars was only
to it
fun
because
for a few people.
that was only
would've
that,
been
that
an
was only my
All-Star.
second. Yeah, a lot of people took that one seriously.
I would have been on All Stars, but I ended up not being able to play because I was already in like 2 other orgs at that time. So,
Oh,
I would have been on All
well.
Stars, but I was.
I got to be the sole Langkawi representative.
Yeah. Well, you
But
represented
no,
them
it
well.
was a this was a fun time. yeah.
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
first person reached the merge 3 times.
Hey, you and I were the last reps of our season in All Stars. Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, first and only person to reach the merge 3 times.
Well, don't worry. I'll break
Dang.
that when I come back.
Oh,
I'll be the
righto,
first person
mate,
to make
righto.
finale 3 times.
I want to be the first person in 100 days. That's it.
I'm going to get today. I want to get to third place on my 3rd time coming back. That's the nice rounding of it, you know. All right. Well.
So,
I'm just gonna
Sorry,
turn
go.
for my 3rd time and get a worse placement.
All right. Well, unless there's any final additions, I'm ready to cut it off.
Reset Idle's a bitch.
Thank you all for tuning in. It's great to have you. We'll see you next time on Destination.
Gotcha.